YouTube video where she completely transitioned, and I thought, I want her. And then I basically auditioned everyone else, where I got them through a friend that you actually introduced me to, Brett Hayward. So. Oh, was he?
He was, and he had to leave early.
Oh,
Yeah.
Brett, yes. Okay. Any other questions?
What's the next step? Is this going to be anywhere else?
Oh, would you love it to be?
Oh, well, I'm brainstorming that now to see, hopefully, somewhere else. I'm sorry, sir, you in the back?
Yes, how long did you rehearse?
Well,
all the lines?
we actually had 2 rehearsals because we're limited, unfortunately, by union rules, so we can't do weeks of rehearsals. So we had 1 long rehearsal on Saturday, a short one right before the performance, and now you see us. Oh, let me get that lady first. Go on.
Having had primarily, I mean, I guess you guys represent 4 of the 6 pieces, the 3 of you who, as far as writing goes.
Yes.
And I don't know if the other person is
Susan Middaws in Croatia right now.
okay, cool. Yeah, so just having, you know, and noticing, since we're like all hopefully comfortable talking about race in this room, and that's why we're here. You guys are all 3 white females. Like, how did you feel about navigating issues of writing about race, writing characters of color, and did you get feedback? Were there conversations that happened that, you know, particularly influenced the way that you portrayed different characters?
It's a little daunting. It's very daunting because you're really afraid of what you're going to put down, and I was really shocked that you took my play because I didn't think you would, because it's kind of grants against, you know, mine is they, the one where they're talking about they do this, and I was very surprised that you took it, but it's a difficult thing because, you know, we're all in that, you know, you see the world through these eyes, not those eyes, you know, and I mean, that's really the crux of the problem, isn't it? That we can't, or we're struggling to try, maybe, you know. Anyway, that's where I am.
Somebody asked me what you write about, you know, and I kept saying that none of my plays looked like anything else, but suddenly I realized that's not really true. I grew up in Compton, California, and like lots happened on my 11th birthday. As a reporter, I covered the Rodney King trials. I covered the '92 unrest. And I keep writing about why does neighbor suddenly turn against neighbor overnight? It's never almost overnight, but that's the way it appears to people. And then, you know, I was looking at war crimes going on in Bosnia and in Rwanda, and everybody kept saying, oh, it's, you know, ancient ethnic rivalry or ancient, you know, tribal tensions. And I'm thinking, like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? You know what I mean? This is like people who are married to each other, and then why does that happen? And so it's sort of, that's sort of the question that I keep asking in my work. And it's just happened that, like, right tonight, I was supposed to be at another play about the aftermath of the '92 unrest in Los Angeles. And in Los Angeles, they're rehearsing another play right now about, in Holland, at Christmas time, believe it or not, they do, instead of Santa Claus, they do St. Nicholas, and he doesn't have elves, he has a guy in blackface, and the Dutch see nothing wrong with this. This is just sort of, you know, they don't understand why this is a problem. So it's just, I just feel like these are issues that for some reason bother me, you know. When I moved to Washington, I couldn't live in Northwest because it was pretty white. You know, it didn't feel, I don't know, it just feels like it's part of what I keep writing about. I don't know the answers, but it's like I gotta, so I'm not black, but oh well. I wrote the Lake Titicaca.
For me, it basically goes back to empathy. I look at someone like William Styron, who could write the Confessions of Nat Turner and Sophie's Choice, being a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant male, and yet he could write these vibrant characters whose experiences he had never dealt with, mainly because he empathized with them. So for me, I thought at the very least, if you can imagine yourself in that person's shoes, your battle is halfway done. I tried not to have, say, ebonics or anything like that, because that's incredibly stereotypical and that's not something that you want. You want fully fleshed people. So what I generally do is if I'm writing about an African American person or a Native American or an Asian, I try to put myself in their shoes. How would I feel if I was lynched? How would I feel if somebody denied me a job based on race, which, believe it or not, has happened to me in the past? How would I feel if someone has just insulted me and assumed that I'm a particular way because I belong to a particular ethnic group? And since I believe that we're all basically the same underneath our skin, it's very easy for me to navigate these issues and to write from the perspective of people who consider themselves people of color. And also, to be quite honest, I have no shame and no fear, so I'm more than willing to navigate these waters and face whatever's thrown at me.
Can I follow up? Did you get any submissions from playwrights of color?
Honestly, no, unfortunately. I solicited for it, I did.
I know, I saw it, and
Yeah.
I saw it posted on Facebook.
Oh, hi, Pat.
Hi, so I had a structural question, a playwriting question for Rosemary. Since you wrote a series of monologues, and I wondered first, what went into your decision or your choice to do that instead of a scene where the characters interact? And then also, once you made that choice, how you went about it. Did you write the entire monologue for each character and then just break them up so that we wouldn't be listening to the same for so long? Or was there some other thing at work?
No, I wrote them in bursts, her, him, that kind of like that.
Okay.
I wanted them to be able to say anything that came out, and I sometimes think that we unfortunately put on a face, I think we kind of do the nice things sometimes, and we don't, and I wanted these characters in particular to just say, I'm really nuts about Sidney Poitier, and, Morgan Freeman is just a great guy, when I include what the heck, maybe he's a great guy, I don't know, not Morgan Freeman, but you know what I mean. I wanted her to be able to say that. I wanted, the other characters to talk about them truly, his feelings. I was trying to get into his head, her head, his head, I don't know.
So monologues would make them uncensored.
Yes.
And the plan was that none of the characters would hear anything the other characters said?
Yeah.
Okay.
And a lot of that came from real life happenstance. I had this situation at the store just last week. It just blew me away, because you see when we're all, we're all like together and we're making a stupid joke. Well, it's not even a joke. I can't, how do you, it really scares me. I meant that when I said it scares me sometimes about this country. I have some hope for my children because they're younger and they have grown up in a different world. Our generation, I don't know, it just really knocks me out.
I have to say, from an actor's point of view,
Yes.
my doing that one was so hard.
Okay.
And I remember talking to the director about using a southern accent, because clearly I'm not English. So I wanted it to be an American accent. But yet I also felt that that was a stereotype as well. So we had a big discussion about this, and I think the director led me on the right path. But it was incredibly difficult for me to do at the rehearsals. I didn't think I was going to get through it.
Why was it difficult?
Because it was hard for me a little bit to say those words, forgetting again that it was a character, not me as my person, but it was still very difficult. And I think all of us have that experience to a certain extent of some of the things that we were saying in the play.
Hello.
So, I really had a question for the actors. So did you all get, I'm just curious about the process, if anything that you discussed while you were rehearsing, like any revisions or if the actors had any thoughts about